Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Adeeba, Binti Rashid, and today Group 9 will present about Malaysia middle income trap, causes and policy responses. So today's presentation will consist of 9 chapters, which is the introduction, background information, literature review, problem identification, data collection and methodology, analysis, government policies and initiative, discussion, and lastly conclusion. So to start off with the introduction, as we all know, Malaysia is a fast-growing Southeast Asia country that has achieved a significant economic progress over recent decades, transitioning from a low-income to a middle-income nation. However, like other emerging economies country, Malaysia faces the challenges of achieving high income status, potentially falling into the middle-income trap. This is because the heavy reliance on resource-based industry like palm oil and petroleum, and also the limited innovation workforce, the skill gaps, and infrastructure disparity. So the main objective of this presentation is to identify barriers to high income status and also to propose policies for sustainable economic growth. Therefore, the policy that we recommended to the government is to invest in education and workforce skill, to increase the funding for research and development, and lastly, to improve the infrastructure to support innovation and diversification. The significance of this study is to boost GDP, living standard, and create high-value jobs, to reduce the income inequality and hence enhance the global competitiveness, to attract quality foreign investment and drive technology-driven industry, and lastly, to guide policymakers in crafting inclusive growth strategies. Moving on to Chapter 2, which is the background information, Malaysia's economy has shifted from agriculture-based to a diversified, industrialized economy. It initially relied on agriculture like rubber, palm oil and tin, but later focused on manufacturing sectors like electronics, chemicals and automotive, driving growth. The electronics industry made Malaysia a global leader in semiconductor exports. Today, the service sector, including finance, tourism, ICT and healthcare, is the largest GDP contributor, showing a move towards knowledge-based industry. Agriculture, though smaller in GDP share, still support rural jobs and export. Malaysia is a strong Southeast Asia economy working to achieve high income status. And now we're moving on with the current economic status in Malaysia. Firstly, we have the GDP growth. Malaysia has shown resilience recovering from global economic disruption with a steady GDP growth of 4 and 5% in recent years. Secondly, we have the Malaysia inflation rate that has been moderate around 2 and 3%. And thirdly, we have the unemployment rate in Malaysia that is relatively low at 3 to 4%, though the pandemic temporarily raised the joblessness, especially among the youth and in sectors like tourism. The government has introduced initiatives to boost job creation, skill development and SME support. And lastly, we have the Malaysia major economic drivers that is driven by the manufacturing services and export. The manufacturing sector, especially electronics, is a major contributor. Services including finance, tourism and IT now make up more than half of the GDP. Tourism is recovering with government support. Commodities like palm oil, petroleum and natural gas remain key export, but Malaysia is focusing on high value and knowledge-based industry to reduce resilience on these factors.
Next, we move on to literature review. This section analyzes 3 research papers. The first paper is Middle Income Trap, Reflection on Malaysia's Economic Development and Policy Implication by Hue Nguyen Yen. The second paper is Malaysia Meets and Remain in the Middle Income Trap, Loss Collation Amidst Industrial Value Migration by Chan Yuan Wong. And the third paper is Malaysia in Middle Income Trap, Can Innovation Help to Overcome It by Wan Farisan bin Wan Sulaiman. All 3 studies agree that Malaysia is struggling with the middle income trap and face a difficulty in moving to a high income economy. The first research paper point out that the industrial upgrading has been slow and lead to a deindustrialization. It's also highlight on Malaysia's failure to achieve industrial competitiveness, emphasizing structural issues like weak productivity and over-reliance on traditional sectors. Meanwhile, the second paper highlights the country over-reliance on low-value added sector. It says that Malaysia missed opportunity in adapting to shifting industrial value globally. It suggests that Malaysia should rely on policies to encourage technological upgrading and to better integrate itself into a global value chain. Next, the third paper stressed that Malaysia's dependence on labour-intensive industry rather than innovation-driven growth had also been a barrier, followed by a problem of human capital efficiency. A more similarity that all three papers have is that all these papers underline the mismatch between Malaysian educational system and the need of the industry. The first paper criticized on lack of focus on STEM field, while the second paper stressed on how there is insufficient skill development for industry that require high value added work. Meanwhile, the third paper emphasized that the need for education reform to promote innovation and to align learning with industrial demand. Another similarity is that all of these three papers point to the policy and institutional barrier that hinder economic growth. These three papers criticize the discriminatory policy such as the new economic policy (NEP) that limit private investment and also limit innovation. On top of that, the dominance of government-linked cooperation (GLC) is also seen as a barrier. Additionally, all of these three papers highlight the insufficient R&D investment from the private sector and fragmented governance further obstruct innovation. Therefore, there are several key recommendations that emerge. First, the country should enhance innovation and R&D by increasing private sector investment in research and development, providing incentive for innovation and focusing on developing high value-added industry. By encouraging innovation, it will enable Malaysia to transition from low values-added sector to a more advanced and competitive industry. Secondly, reforming policies and institutions are essential. Malaysia needs to address the inefficiency of GLCs, reduce reliance on labour-intensive industry, and also create a policy that promotes private investment and entrepreneurship. This change will help to foster a more dynamic, strong, and also competitive economy. Lastly, Malaysia should look at the regional success such as South Korea and also Taiwan as a guidance. By focusing on technological advancements, strong governance, and also long-term economic planning, Malaysia can create a foundation for sustainable economic growth. The key issue are what are the causes and how Malaysia can break out from the middle income trap to reach a sustained high income status. The middle income trap affects Malaysia economic as a whole, posing significant challenge across various sectors and regions. Economic growth has slowed, with GDP averaging around 4 to 5% in recent years that show a decline compared to the early development year. Key sectors such as manufacturing and commodities are losing competitiveness due to over-reliance on low-value exports such as electrical and electronic products. Moreover, the labour market faces challenges with a high dependence on low-skilled foreign workers that suppress wages and also limit innovation. This has contributed to stagnant income, increased inequality, and a lack of high-income job opportunity for the local workers. Additionally, the low investment in R&D, as Malaysia only allocates about 1.5% of its GDP to R&D, far behind high-income countries like South Korea, which invests 4.8% of its GDP. Lastly, geographical differences also contribute to the problem. Economic growth is usually focused on metropolitan regions such as Kuala Lumpur and Selangor, while rural areas like Kelantan and Sabah are lag far behind. All of these factors are limiting Malaysia's total potential and increasing inequality.
My name is Imani Binti and I'm going to present about analysis, economic performance and future outlook. So we have three, which is key economic, indicator, challenge and the recommendation of the income. So as we know that GDP already increased in 9,500 in 2000 to 28,000 in 2022. So the expected of 2024, they have projected and expected to range between 4.5% until 5.5%. It's reflecting a rebound in the first half of the year. Next is the challenge of the economic growth. We have three, which is labor productivity, research and development investment, and also employment issue. So the labor productivity, we have known that it have slower productivity growth and some hinder of economic competitive. For such an example, they have average growth of only 2.4% per year. However, compared to the Singapore, they have 3.2%. In the research and development investment, we have know that we have insufficient in R&D and also a long-term growth potential. And lastly is employment issue. Most of the young people are unemployment rate at 10.7% in 2021, which is mean most of youth people are not going to work. And also most of firm, which is 70%, have reported that it's difficult to find a worker that have a really good skill, and also highlighting a significant skill gap. Also, the strategy of the recommendation of this thing happen, we have to, which is address the structural challenge and also focus on the key area for growth. For example, they enhance labor productivity through by targeting a training and also program, and also they invest in the education to align a workforce skill with the market demand, and also promote innovation by supporting a startup and technology advancement. Now we move to the government policy and initiative, which is what government give to improve the things. Which is in a relevant policy, they have educate reform, which is expand a TVET, technical vocational education and training program, and also in upgrading an industrial, which is focus on the high value sector including biotechnology and advancement in manufacturing. Next is digital economy, which is they make a Madani economy framework that aims to boost economic growth to improve the quality of life. And lastly, in infrastructure development, which is they plan to improve the public transportation. So what is the policy effectiveness due to this government policy? They have positive development, which is My Digital initiative. My Digital initiative has been successful, improved in digital infrastructure, and also they laying in the groundwork for a more connection in economy. Next is bureaucratic inefficient. They have slower policy implementation, continue to hinder progress. However, it effective an initiative to aim the fostering innovation. And lastly, in educational reform, they have reform to aim at improving workforce skill. Next is the recommendation of the government. So in education and skill development, they have recommend to increase the investment in TVET, which is TVET program, to equip the workforce with relevant skill. And also they have increase in R&D investment, which is raise the R&D spending to 2% in GDP by 2030. These things should be increased because they support by tax incentive and also green aim at stimulate private sector innovation.
Moving on to the next part, where I'm going to do a comparative analysis between Malaysia and two other countries that face the same issue, which are Brazil and Thailand. So, Malaysia's strategy to escape the middle income trap stands out when compared to Brazil and Thailand is because the key factors that contribute to Malaysia's success are its stable governance, economic diversification, and also focus on the technological innovation, where like programs such as economic transformation program have reduced the reliance on traditional industries and investing in high value sectors. In contrast, Brazil and Thailand face challenges because of their innovation are lack and political instability often hampers their progress. Brazil's reliance on commodity exports and limited investment in high-tech industries restricts its potential. Moreover, we will explore the internal challenges Malaysia must address and the opportunities it can do to leverage and progress further. As we might know, Malaysia faces notable challenges in escaping the middle income trap, as productivity levels lag behind wealthier nations, and also a significant skill gap remains despite the initiatives that we do, such as TVET. Additionally, the economy still relies heavily on low-value industries such as natural resources. However, there are a clear opportunity that we can do, such as increase in investment for R&D, where it can position our country as a leader in biotech and also renewable energy. These challenges and opportunities shape Malaysia's path forward, which we will examine in the next Future Outlook. For the next part, we're going to talk about future outlooks, where we believe that Malaysia has 3 key strategies for the future, where it can diversify its economy, advancing technology, and also adopting sustainability. Programs like the Economic Transformation Program and Industry Forward aim to shift the focus from low-value sectors to high-value, tech-driven industries. Investing in areas like AI and robotics can boost productivity and open new markets. These strategies paved the way for Malaysia's success and also highlighted the key findings we will summarize next. Moving on, the summary of our findings show that Malaysia's steady GDP growth of 4 to 5% is insufficient to reach a high income status. The key challenges include low productivity, reliance on low-value industries, and R&D investment below 1% of GDP. Comparison with countries such as South Korea highlight the missed opportunities in advanced industries and workforce alignment. To address these issues, Malaysia must increase its R&D investment to 2% of GDP and also align education system with market needs and focus on high-value industries. These structural reforms are vital for long-term economic growth and competitiveness. With this in mind, let's explore the policy actions that needed to implement these solutions effectively. Furthermore, the implications for policymakers. To achieve high income status, policymakers must prioritize innovation and productivity. Increasing R&D investments to 2% of GDP by 2030 is crucial, as education reforms focusing on system and TVET will help address workforce skill gaps. Businesses should adopt digital transformation and automation, particularly SMEs, to enhance competitiveness, and also partnerships between academia and industry can further drive innovation. Policymakers must also promote green initiatives and sustainability to prepare Malaysia for high-value industries and global opportunities. The success of these policies will determine Malaysia's ability to overcome the middle income trap, as we conclude with our final thoughts. Lastly, to sum up, addressing the middle income trap is crucial for Malaysia's economic growth and global competitiveness. By investing in innovation, education, and also high-value industries while reducing regional disparities, Malaysia can achieve sustainable and inclusive progress. Bold reforms and strategic vision and action will pave the way for a high-income, resilient economy. That's all from us. Thank you.